Hi, everyone, and thank you very much for your messages regarding the first video I've made for this coronavirus crisis time management, I would say. And I really appreciate your support and your encouragement for making some more videos in that regards. And thank you for some of you who have called me directly, to exchange with me. And I think that's the reason why I'm making this second video. I've had a call with one of my friends who shared with me that things are like bouncing, up and down, up and down. And right now it was a very, very heated time when he called me. We had that long conversation and I asked him, so tell me one thing that you want to happen right now. What is your wish right now? And he told me the wish he has right now is just that they don't kill each other. So it is that intense and it is that stressful in his couple right now. And I did have another call with a friend, a female friend, who shared with me. This is very funny. She said, Dante, I don't want to blame God, but I think that God forgot something when manufacturing a human being. I said, where are you trying to go with this? He said, no, I really wish we had a mute function on human beings so that I would put my husband on mute and try to have some peaceful time sometimes, which is very funny, you know. But after having those calls and exchanging with people around me, I realized that the biggest stress we have right now is more about couples, people in relationship. And that is the reason why I want to talk very briefly about relationship. You know, we talk a lot, we exchange a lot, we have a lot of word. But what I realize is that we do not have meaningful conversation sometimes, most of the time, I would say. And let's choose this moment to have a meaningful conversation. Now, what is a meaningful conversation? I think, a meaningful conversation is based on a couple of things. And one of those things is the boundary or the boundaries. Without making clear your boundaries, it's very hard to sustain a peaceful relationship. Not to sustain a relationship, but to sustain a peaceful relationship. Let's try to be clear about what are our boundaries. What is a boundary? You can call it limitations. What you don't want people to do to you, or what you can't do for the other person. Be clear about what you can do, what you can't do, what you don't want the other person to do to you, and what you expect from the other person to do for you. There's so many things around this, but have a discussion and try to point out a couple of important ones and have a conversation about it. You know, I can give you some personal examples. At the beginning of this crisis, I'm just like every one of you. We were having a lot of stress as well, but I decided to sit down with my wife and have a meaningful conversation to talk about boundaries. And when we were talking about this, one thing we came up with, which exists already and many people are doing, is to be clear about happiness. We are both in charge of our own happiness. You're in charge of your own happiness, and I'm in charge of my own happiness. I can help you or trigger the action or the thing that can make you happy. But at the end of the day, you are the one who chooses to be happy or not. The same exact thing can happen in front of both of us. I can choose to be very happy and laugh about it, but you may not. And I can't do nothing about that. So happiness, we choose to do it. And once you get this right, people will see themselves accountable for their own happiness, and they will try to be happy. Because what happens is unconsciously, people tend not to show their happiness because they want the other person to still see them as, oh, he or she is having a hard time, or she or he is struggling. We sometimes want that, and that's not the right thing in this period. That's one thing. And another thing is that I personally was struggling with is, my wife would ask me, hey, Sherry, can you come and pick up the garbage? Yeah, where it happens a lot. Can you come and pick the garbage and take them down so that I have enough space in the kitchen to cook the dinner? And my response will be, I'll do it in a minute. And 20 minutes later, I'll still be sitting on the couch watching a football game or just playing with the boys. And my wife didn't like that. And when we had the time, when we decided to sit and talk, have a conversation about boundaries, she brought up that topic. And I realized how much she hated it. And I was like, wow, I'm so happy that we had this conversation. So you hate it that much? And she was saying yes. And let me tell you this, if we had a fight about it, I always ask you to take the laundry down and you don't do it, there will be a big hit, but nothing would have happened. I may take it down that day, but the next day I might behave the same way. So choose the time to have that conversation. Wait until everything is calm, everybody is happy, everybody is in a peaceful moment, and then start to have that real conversation. And another tip is, don't just start with the negative. You need to do that. You need to stop that. No. Praise the other person. Tell the person how much good the person is already doing. Hey, look at, you're doing so much for this family. You're doing so much for this relationship. You're doing A so well, B, C so wonderfully. And now, let me tell you, this D, if you could do it a little more, or if you could do it in this different way, it will be just awesome for our relationship. Let's try to have it that way. And be clear, you're doing this, and I think it's time for you to stop this because I hate this so much, and it doesn't help me. Be honest, be clear, and have that conversation. I believe this will help a lot for all of us because having your boundaries will be a kind of structure in which you will be able to smoothly move and have more laughs instead of fight. So thank you very much again, and I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback again. Take care.